Hey everybody, welcome. Free First Thursday here. I'm Tad Hargrave from Marketing for Hippies, and we're going to dive right in with the very first question from Vanessa Peer. So I'm starting a new class, and I have no niche except to say that I would like humans who don't even know uh, that they're not in their bodies, so that they can get into their bodies. That feels very broad. It is very broad. It's not a promising niche. That doesn't mean you won't get there, but that yeah, probably isn't going to cut it. So, but you've got the right idea, Vanessa, that you need a niche. Or to say it differently, that trying to be everything to everybody isn't useful. That we've got to figure out who this is for and who it's not for. Um, right. So what we have is a diagnosis, right? We have a diagnosis rather than a symptom. So the diagnosis is people are not in their bodies, and they're not even aware that they're not in their body. So it's sort of a two-layer diagnosis. And so then here's the homework. The next step on this is to ask yourself, okay, if people are really not in their bodies, what are the consequences of that? If somebody's not in their body, what are the symptoms they're likely to experience? And there's a good chance we can make that a lot more specific by saying, how is it for you? Often our deepest wound is a doorway to our truest niche. And so there's a very good chance that you went through this yourself, I would guess, in some way you weren't in your body than you were. And if you can find what the symptoms were for you, what were the experiences or breaking points for yourself that had you wake up to, like, God, I'm not even in my body. That is probably a really good direction because it's something you know about personally. It's something you know about very directly yourself. Does that make sense? Oh, excuse me. Yeah, Vanessa, does that land or any questions?
Yeah, that lands and still feels very broad in that I don't it's not a gender thing, it's not it's just there's sort of no parameters for it maybe, but I will ask myself that question and explore that and see where it goes.
Yeah, the other thing I'd say is if you go to my marketingforhippies.com/webinars or webinar, there's a webinar on ideal client, and I would highly recommend getting that and digging into it because the examples you gave there were largely demographic, external things.
Mm.
And this is one of the, I think, blunders we make is we think, well, I don't care what ethnic background, I don't care what age, I don't really care the income bracket they're in, I don't care if they're men or women, I don't care their age, I don't care their profession, I don't care where they live. But everything I just listed is a demographic thing. And then so we imagine, well, that's the only way I can focus. But there are um, other ways to hone in three, namely one, what's the issue they're struggling with? What's the symptom? We can really hone in on that. Second, we can hone in on there's some filtering things of what are the musts or deal breakers we have to work with people.
Mhm.
Which I'll say a bit more about. And the third is the psychographics. What are the internal things? Like what are the scenes or communities that they're likely a part of? And a few things for everybody as you're thinking about your niche or ideal client. One, ideal. We're going for an ideal client. Like for you, the one, and here's, I'll give you four criteria on an ideal client. One, they light you up. The thought of working with them, you're like, oh man, this is the fucking best. I can't believe my luck. Second, they bring out your best work. Yeah, something about them just has you want to show up. Like, I want to hit home runs for these people instead of, God, I couldn't even care. I mean, I remember a friend of mine in Calgary invited me to teach marketing at this event, but they were like, used car salespeople. Somebody was in mining. It was just all these industries. It was early in my career. I don't even think I was called marketing for hippies then. And they were asking me questions. I was standing there thinking, how little can I give them? And they're still satisfied. Do I even want to answer this question? Do I want to help this person? It was not bringing out my best. I wasn't like rolling up my sleeves and just saying, okay, let's get to this. How can? So number one, do they light you up? Number two, do they bring out your best? Number three, um, do you grow as a result of working with them? Does it challenge you? Does it have you want to learn more? Do you find yourself a better practitioner as a result of a client like this? Number four, critically, do they make progress? If you have clients that are consistently not making progress, I would just say that's probably evidence that they're not a fit. It could be you're not very good at what you do. This is possible. It could be, yeah, you're over promising or something, but or you've picked a niche you don't know anything about. But it's a good chance that they're just not a fit. And somebody who would be a perfect fit for you would make progress. And I guess I'm saying by definition, that's how we know they're an ideal client. And so again, we're going for something ideal that would meet all of that criteria. And the most important thing is don't settle. We don't want to just, well, I could help. Yes, you could help everybody, and you could date everybody. You could marry everybody. Technically that is true, but technically true is not the same as deeply true. So this is where we really want to think like, okay, who would be ideal? That I was like, I'd pinch myself. I can't believe life is so good that I get these clients. That's key. Which this is very connected to the not being in touch with our bodies, because you ask people, well, who's your ideal client? Well, I don't know. I can help everybody. But we do know, actually. It can take time, and sometimes it just takes experience working with enough people to see. But it's very important to stay in touch with your body of who am I lit up by. It doesn't have to make sense right away, but just to notice it. So this is the first thing. We go for ideal. We don't settle. It doesn't mean all of our clients will be perfect and ideal. It's not that, but you're just more likely to get them if you know what you're aiming at, because all of your marketing then is directed only to that person, to that kind of person. A second thing that can help is if you think about like, what do you have on offer? What's the most expensive, I don't know, premium gold level? Like, what's the biggest thing that you sell right now?
The biggest thing that I'm just about to start selling is movement medicine, like 5 rhythms. So it's, yeah, different than what I've done before. Up until now, and still now, I teach somatic movement, and
Is it a weekly class? Is this a 3-month thing, a year-long
it's a
something?
weekly class. And then as I grow, it would turn into weekend workshops, 5-day workshops.
Okay, so here's the assignment then. This is another bit of homework. And for everybody, if you feel stuck on your niche, this is something I often, when I'm doing one-on-one coaching with people, it's like I give this exercise this surprising amount. So imagine this. You have a group of people and they come to you and they say, Vanessa, we've been following your work, gone to some of your classes, and we all have kind of realized we're just not in touch with our bodies. We know we want to get in touch more. And you're the one. We've all explored various things, but you're here, you're local, you're great. You're the one we want to work with. You don't have to pitch us on this. We're sold already. And we would like you to design for us a year-long program. By the end of that year, we want the problem solved. Like, we want to be in our bodies. Don't worry about how much you charge for it. I mean, include whatever you want. We just want the job done within a year. Maybe not perfect, but we want to kind of go from island A to B. And don't worry about what you charge. We're fucked up, but we're rich. Yeah. So we can afford it. So do the real thing. So then design that program, the thing that you personally would be so excited to do. That's like, I can't believe people are paying me to do. You design that and then ask yourself, who would I want in this? And for everybody, I just can't recommend this highly enough. When you're thinking about ideal client, don't think about ideal client from who's visiting your website or who comes to your drop-in classes. It's not that. Think about the highest end, the biggest, the most developed offering you have, and then reverse engineer it from there. Why? Because the whole point of your business model is to find you those people. Because at the end of the day, that's where you're going to make most of your money, or these high-end. That's what will sustain the rest of the business in the long term. So we start with that. We start with the ideal offering. Then we think, who's the ideal client for that? Because then for even the drop-in classes, who are those targeted to? People who might be interested in this. Because you can see the problem if if you have an offering and this offering is all about how to feel more confident around money or something, but then your initial offerings are all about how to deal with headaches. There's this wild disconnect. So you could be getting a ton of people there, but none of them are interested in so we want people who will be interested in the whole journey. And most of them won't do the whole journey at all. Very few will make it all the way, but it makes it much easier on us if the people, even at the front end, are our ideal clients or have at least a kinship with them, might become our ideal clients over time. So I would start with that. Design this offer. Then you might want to go through this ideal client webinar and really think through for that offer itself, for that premium thing, who would I want? And the last thing I'll say is we just have to start with what's clear. There's more clarity to come, but the first thing we have to do is sort of harvest the initial clarity we have. And it may be meager in the beginning. Like, I only know these things. Okay, but then as you're working with people, you just keep paying attention. Keep noticing what's ideal, what's not ideal, who's a fit, who's not a fit. And I'll do a little screen share here of, this is somebody who's in my membership, Nisanka. Her niche, which is fantastic, is, here, I'll just show the website. All right, so are you parenting with a narcissistic partner or ex? That's a very clear niche. That's a very clear issue and symptom. This isn't her diagnosis. This is just, are you dealing with this? Then, the result, I can help you preserve your sanity, take your life back, and help your children thrive. Okay, that's the niche. That's not why I'm showing you the page. But one of the things we talk about in the niching arc, which is a year-long program around niching, is this filtering thing, and how good it can be to have a sort of ideal client page, are we a fit page, something like this. And she has one that's so good. It's like this textbook. I just can't even imagine how we'd get. Okay, so there we are. It's like, I think I've got this. Oh, there's some weird glitches on this. All right, there we go. Okay, I had it too big. Okay, so under home, we go to Are We a Fit? And I just want to skim over this because this is so well done. I mean, I don't think I could improve this page. Okay, so Are We a Fit, right? If you've been looking for support to parent with a narcissist while preserving your sanity, supporting your children through it all, we might be a fit. So that's the first filter, right? Filter number one is just, are you in this situation? Because if not, I don't have anything for you. And as you look at this page, I want you to think about it like a water filter, right? You know how water filters have multiple levels in them. You got sand and charcoal and whatever the hell it is. But each layer filters more and more out. So this page is specifically not designed to seduce anyone. It's not designed to say, here's why it's so great. It's designed to eliminate people. So that by the end of this page, only people who are a perfect fit are left. So I'll scroll down a little bit here. So what I offer, okay, so first of all, this is nice. Here's what I offer, right? This is just, you should know that this is what I do. But then here comes the next. So that's a filter too, by the way. Because some people may read this and say, that's not what I want. None of these things. So, but then here we go. Are you safe? Right? We can't work through immediate dangers or crises in a coaching program. Right? If you feel like you're in immediate danger of being stalked, threatened with physical harm, sexual harm, or murder, etc., from your narcissistic, like, hey, this coaching program is not for you. But here's some emergency numbers. This is what you should be doing. I can't help you there. Hey, my stuff is a combination of holistic tools, coaching, and mentoring. So it's EFT, it's matrix reimprinting, and NLP. So that's helpful as a filter too, because somebody may like, oh, what? This is some holistic woo-woo? No, I want some cognitive behavioral therapy. I want something more, I don't know, lab tested, scientific, logical. And so that's a filter as well. Can you afford it? Right. I love the way she phrases it. Could putting yourself through a coaching program strain you financially? Do you have some money to invest in a coaching program? The minimum investment is £900 for 3 months. This process takes time. Payment plans are available. And after the first 3 months, we can look into a bespoke program that suits you. But so you just know, you don't have to get on a discovery call, find out how much it costs. It's kind of, okay, I can afford that or not. Do you have the time? I love this. Can you carve out 60 to 90 minutes a week to engineer your life for something better? right? There are 2 1-hour sessions per month. After the session, it's advisable to get some rest. You will also need to carve out about 10 minutes every day to journal EFT tapping or complete some homework. For this program to work, it's essential you can carve out time. So that's a filter. It's like, if you can't do this as a minimum, don't even bother. Are you comfortable with self-study, right? Because there's going to be some self-study. You will need to complete an assessment before an initial introductory coaching call. We would be a great fit if we are aligned on this. So then there's some more just, these probably aren't musts. As you can see, it's just like, we would be great. It might be nice if this, I got a special place in my heart for people who, but it also helps filter. Even though it's not a must, some people will see this and just, ew, or, oh, yes. And now they're more deeply in. How about this? Things I cannot help you with. That's a filter. Let's deal with this up front, right? I don't have strategies to win over the narcissist and change them. I love this one, particularly at the bottom. I will not testify in court. You know, here's what I won't do for you. That's a filter. And then you can book a gift session here. But so the reason I point this out is because this is a level of these musts I was talking about before, the deal breakers. That can be part of the filtering of the ideal client. And we forget these. So we start with the ideal offer that we want to have, but then we reverse engineer. And part of it is, so for the ideal offer, right? How much time do they need to commit? How much money? Are there any prerequisites? Anything on their end that they would need to bring that if they're not willing to bring it or able to bring it, don't sign up. So we just start with that. We start with what's clear. And as you go, you'll have good and bad experiences with clients, which are going to help you refine what goes there. So how does that all land for you? Does that all make sense?
Yeah, that sounds great. And her that webpage is like so clear and also so brave. And I can hear something which is like, oh, I just like I don't want to cut anybody out because I want everyone to be able to come so that I can have more people. So I also can see that I need to, yeah.
Yeah, this is an understandable thing, right? Oh, I'll cut people out. But the unannounced assumption and premise that that's coming from that really barely survives the light of day is the idea that you could have everybody.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the premise here.
mm,
Uh, why would you be afraid of losing these people? Well, because I could have had them. So
mm.
you don't want to lose anyone? No. Why? Well, because I could have everybody. That's the insanity. Because we can't. Because first of all, of course, the obvious thing is, if I narrow down to I coach people who are parenting with a narcissist, I'll kind of lose everybody who's not that or somewhere in that ballpark. That's clear. We can all thumbs up. That makes sense. You're not going to have them. People won't be drawn. But what if you say, I can help everybody with everything? I do NLP, matrix reimprinting, and EFT tapping, and I can help everybody. Do you not imagine that by being so general, you will lose people? You know, that somebody's going to look like, I'd rather somebody more specialized. So you're going to lose people, period. No matter what you do, you lose people. The only question to me that matters is, are you losing the people you want to lose and attracting the people you want to attract? And which strategy is more likely to do that? But you can't get everybody. And would you want to? I mean, this idea also of, I don't want to lose people. It's, well, are they an ideal client? And also, just because they want to work with you, does that mean it's a fit? No. I mean, just because somebody wants to date you, do you have to date them just because they want it? I mean, sorry to come at people because I know that's some of our own dating history, you know. So, um, yeah, well, you're going to lose people anyways. Just lose the right people, attract the right people. That's what I'd say. There you go. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thank you very much.